a flow trap. This state of purely passive consumption where you just completely lose track of time passing. Today, we're taking a seriously fascinating and, frankly, completely eye-opening journey straight under the hood of our daily digital habits. We spend so much of our lives just swiping, tapping, and scrolling, but we rarely stop to actually look at the machinery running the whole show. And I promise you, by the time we wrap this up, you're gonna look at your devices entirely differently. 6 hours and 54 minutes. That is the global average daily screen time in 2026. Literally almost 7 hours every single day just staring at a pane of glass. This is a story about incredibly successful engineering. To really understand how we got here, we have to rewind to a single weekend back in 2006. A 22-year-old interface designer named Ozza Raskin created this tiny little invention that permanently altered the architecture of the modern internet. See, before 2006, the web had natural boundaries, decision points. Basically, these are brief pauses in an interface where the human brain has a split second to naturally ask, wait, do I actually want to keep going? You had to reach the bottom of a page, physically click next page, wait for the whole thing to load, and actively make the choice to consume more. Those natural stopping points, they used to protect our attention. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive shift we've experienced. But the new internet, it has infinite scroll. Raskin designed a way for content to just keep loading automatically, completely friction-free. By entirely eliminating those crucial decision points, the modern internet keeps us locked in what researchers call a flow trap. It's this state of purely passive consumption where you just completely lose track of time passing. Now, it's important to note that Raskin didn't actually set out to build an addiction machine. In fact, he's publicly expressed deep, genuine regret about his invention, flat out stating that social media companies took his tool and weaponized it. His own explicit comparison is honestly pretty chilling. He said, "It is as if they are taking behavioral cocaine and just sprinkling it all over your interface." That right there is the exact mechanism that keeps you coming back and back and back again. The psychology of variable reward. Back in the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner put pigeons in a box. The pigeons that received random, unpredictable food rewards pressed the lever obsessively. The unpredictability was the hook. Well, casino slot machines use that exact same logic, with random money, which is exactly what makes them the most lucrative gambling devices ever made. Notice how social media feeds replicate this perfectly, with random likes and unpredictable content. The mechanism is literally identical. In this scenario, you are the pigeon, the feed is the slot machine, and that exact same unpredictable mechanism is currently powering the platforms we hold in our hands every single day. So every time you get a notification or see an unexpected, funny video, your brain's reward system just lights up with dopamine. Platforms basically engineered this into an infinite, on-demand dopamine delivery system. 86.9% of internet users now consume short-form video on a weekly basis. And guys, this endless loop wasn't some sort of accident. It was a highly deliberate business decision. The math is incredibly simple. More time on the platform means more ads served, and more ads mean more revenue. Screens are commanding a whopping 9 hours of the day. Sleep is sitting at 8 hours. Time with family or outdoors, just 2 hours. This invisible architecture has literally eclipsed our most fundamental human needs. Screens have actually overtaken sleep and human connection. 98% of 2-year-olds watch screens daily. Children aged 8 to 12 are averaging 5 hours and 33 minutes of daily screen time for entertainment alone. 237 daily app notifications. That means a teenager's brain, a brain that is still developing and actively forming neural pathways, is being actively interrupted 237 times every single day. A global reckoning. We are actually entering a brand new phase. Society, governments, and courts are finally beginning to fight back against this invisible architecture. Looking at this rapid timeline of global pushback, we see that in December 2024, Australia passed an aggressive ban on social media for anyone under 16, and they backed it up with massive fines of up to $49.5 million for non-compliance. Then, rolling through 2025, the European Union's Digital Services Act started forcing platforms to offer feeds that are not based on algorithmic profiling. That means you can just see content chronologically from people you actually choose to follow, totally free of the behavioral manipulation. And then in March 2026, we saw a massive legal milestone. That milestone was the historic KGM versus Meta verdict out of a Los Angeles courtroom. For the very first time, a jury held a social media company legally liable for addicting a child. They found Meta 70% responsible and Google 30%, awarding $6 million in damages. Now, obviously, $6 million is basically loose change to big tech, but the legal precedent here is monumental. With over 2,000 similar cases now currently pending in American courts, legal experts are comparing this movement directly to the massive big tobacco trials of the 1990s. It is a legal precedent that fully intends to change an entire industry. Taking back your time. We've talked a lot about billion-dollar courtrooms and sweeping international laws, but right now, I want to shift the focus away from the macro level and bring it right down to personal agency and individual choices. Take a look at this data on how teenagers actually feel about their own phone use. 52% explicitly say they want to use their phones less, yet 46% say they simply don't know how to stop. Only 2% are actually content with their current usage. That massive gap between wanting to put the phone down and not knowing how, that isn't a personal failure. It is exactly how the system was engineered to work. It's a deliberate design feature. Think about it like this. When you add up 6 hours and 54 minutes a day, you get 49 full days a year just staring at a screen. Over an average lifetime, a person will spend 5 entire years of their life on social media. Those 49 days every year belong to you. That is precious time that could be spent sleeping, learning a new skill, building something, or just connecting with the people you love. That time wasn't simply lost, it was systematically and architecturally designed away. They completely removed the natural decision points to keep you in the flow trap. They sprinkled the behavioral cocaine. But despite all the infinite scrolling, and despite all the unpredictable variable rewards, the stop button still exists. You are holding it. It's quite literally in your hand right now. The power to break that dopamine loop and reclaim those 49 days a year ultimately rests entirely with you. So, what are you going to do with your 49 days? Thank you so much for diving into this explainer with me. If this little look under the hood sparked your curiosity, make sure to check out our other explainers as we continue to unpack the fascinating and visible systems that are shaping our world.